right, y'all. Greetings, greetings. I hope you can hear me. Greetings, greetings. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. All right. So we're going to be talking about the fact that Iran and Israel have agreed to cease fire, you all. Again, I repeat, Iran and and Israel have agreed to cease fire. And I heard about that on my way coming back home earlier this evening. And I thought I'd come over here and talk about it. How do you all feel about that? Is this something that gives you a sense of relief? Or do you think that Iran could have something else up their sleeve? Because it is said that after the US struck Iran, they basically blew out the bunkers for their nuclear center where they were building nuclear weapons. Um, it Iran fired back at, I think it was Qatar, and it sounds like America shot down all 6 of their missiles. So thank goodness there were no casualties with that. But with that being said, do you think that Iran and Israel, do you think it's over for them, or do you think they'll have something else up their sleeve? Inquiring minds want to know, you all. Excuse me from looking away, because what I'm trying to do right now is see if I can find this live stream to see if this video is coming in clearly, because usually it's just kind of hard for me to understand what's going on with this channel sometimes. And my cats are fighting one another. This is the time that they should be going into their cages. It is their bedtime as well. So you tell me, are you happy about this? Does it give you a sense of relief? It gives me a sense of relief, I must say that, because I felt apprehensive a little bit about it, especially being that, I feel like the country is in a vulnerable state right now with the fact that the migrant situation is going on, the fact that the economy is the way that it is, and everything feels very unsettling. I think the war is the last thing that we needed. But is this the foreshadowing of some upcoming events? So I'm going to play this video for you. And let me see, can I be heard? I don't even know if I'm heard or not. Let me turn this up. Oh, it's on for you. And let me see, can I be heard? Okay. So it sounds like I can be heard. All right. You have to excuse me, y'all, because I'm using Zoom software and it can be a little unnerving and a little confusing for me. All right. So I just want to share this clip with y'all of what I saw earlier today. Let me see. Okay. So let me find out how to share it. Here we go. Share. I have to talk my way through it all the time. It's so irritating. Here we go. But I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Middle East, and some breaking news coming just now. Joining us this evening, Vice President J.D. Vance. Mr. Vice President, thanks for coming.
Absolutely, thank you.
Just seconds ago, the president went to Truth Social and typed this. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire. Complete and total ceasefire is what he typed.
Yep.
What does that mean? How did it come about? What's the development here?
Well, we were actually working on that just as I left the White House to come over here. So that's good news that the president was able to get that across the finish line. I think what it means, Brett, is quite simple. First of all, the president, without, knock on wood, having a single American casualty, obliterated the Iranian nuclear program. We are now in a place where we weren't a week ago. A week ago, Iran was very close to having a nuclear weapon. Now, Iran is incapable of building a nuclear weapon with the equipment they have because we destroyed it. So that's a very, very big thing. Now, what that means, I think, is we have to talk to Iran and, of course, to Israel about what the future holds. Because while we have obliterated the Iranian nuclear program, our hope and our expectation is that they're not going to try to rebuild that program. And I think that's what the president is really trying to figure out here, is to build a long-term settlement here to where we can have peace in the region. region where our regional allies and, of course, the American people, most importantly, can be secured, but where we can ensure that the destruction of the Iranian nuclear program that has already happened is not something they try to rebuild.
I want to get
All right, so I'm going to pause it right there because my sentiments are the same. However, I would say we need to think about who are the allies to our Iran, right? Who are the allies to Iran that could actually supply them some more material and allow them to build these nuclear weapons or help them to get these nuclear weapons built? And the reason I guess that President Trump went ahead and had them to bomb Iran is because uh, you got to think about the mentality of those people. They are not scared. They are not afraid. The people in the Middle East are ready for war. Anytime, any day, it can go down. Over here, us in America, we have been very spoiled. We have been very entitled. We have been very customized to not have to worry about these attacks, even though attacks are very real and attacks can happen at any time, especially with the fact that our borders, have been weakened and we have so many undocumented people over here, right? And I think that's a very dangerous situation and a very dangerous combination for America. With that being said, now that these alleged weapons or nuclear weapons have been destroyed, they don't have the materials to build. My thing is, they can easily get assistance from another country that is an ally to them. Putin, which you all know, he is the president for Russia, um, is against what America did. Putin plays no games. He's a very straightforward individual. And I just hope that none of the other nations, takes offense to America's bombing of Iran. So let's continue to listen to what JD Vance has to say about this whole situation in the Middle East, y'all.
to the obliterated part in just a minute, but I just want to read this fully so I get the context
Yeah.
here. Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point, the ceasefire for 12 hours,
Sure.
at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful on the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will. I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the world. He seems confident that this is all coming together.
That's right.
Okay. So right there, they say that basically President Trump feels that he has helped to end the fire that has been going on between Iran and Israel. President Trump, they said he's been on the phone before the bombing started, while the bombing was going on, and I guess now he's been on the phone all day. So they have come to some type of agreement allegedly. I wonder, can we trust this? Is this, skating on thin ice? Are they going to start something up in the future, y'all? Because it puts people on pause. It has people apprehensive and nervous, thinking that this country could be in a potential war zone, especially if Iran is saying, hey, we're going to bomb one of your cities. And I'm hoping they don't try to sneak attack America, right? Because they could say one thing and do another. You have to think about the mentality of these people in the Middle East. One thing I know about them, they play no games. They're not afraid to go to war and they will fight till the end. Um, and that is basically the sentiments and the way they have always been over there. They're nobody to play with, and they will go at it regardless of what anybody has to say about it. Um, we've seen the people over there fighting in the streets with tanks, throwing rocks at tanks. That is, you have to be fearless. American people, if they see a tank coming down the street, they're going inside of their houses and they're going to be hiding. So that's the difference between what I'm saying, the mentality of the people in the Middle East and the people here in America. We've had it very comfortable. And so I'm just really, really hoping that there can be like a peace agreement between all the nations. I don't think any real person wants to see a war started, in any part of the world. Unfortunately, these things take place because the people that lead the nation, the dictators, the presidents, they're the ones that call the shots. And unfortunately, the people, that are innocent sometimes are a byproduct and a casualty of these very disastrous scenarios. So that's what's going on there. Let's continue to listen in on what else they have to say. So just a second, I'm going to share my screen, y'all. All right, so right now they're in a little commercial. We're going to go ahead and skip past that.
House, were you thinking this was all gelling here?
When I left the White House, I thought that we might be able to get it across the finish line before this broadcast, and it looks like the president has been able to do that. I mean, look, he's been working the phones constantly. Frankly, before the 12-day war started, but certainly over the past 12 days, the president's been extremely clear about America's national objective here. It is to create a world where Iran cannot build a nuclear weapon. We, of course, destroyed the nuclear program that they had, and the president told the entire team, we're going to work to make sure that they don't try to rebuild that nuclear capability in the future. And look, this is a great thing. For Israel, think about this. They've accomplished an important military objective. They've helped us destroy the Iranian nuclear program. They've also destroyed the conventional missile capability of Iran that threatened the country of Israel. For the Iranians, I think this is a new opportunity to actually pursue the path of peace. As I said yesterday, what the Iranians have showed through their support of terror networks, through their now failed effort to build a nuclear weapon, is that they're just not very good at war. And I think the president really hit the reset button and said, look, let's actually produce long-term peace for the region. That's always been his goal. I actually think when we look back, we will say the 12-day war was an important reset moment for the entire region.
Would you be surprised if Iran is sending out signals that it doesn't have a specific ceasefire plan? How would the communication have been with the Iranians to get this level of confidence to put out that detailed statement?
So
Well, one
that
of the
is
things
that,
I've
you
learned.
all. Just a quick live stream reporting to you live, letting you know that Iran and Israel have agreed to cease fire according to the Trump administration. I feel a little relieved about it. I don't know how you feel about it. I think most Americans, if you're living on American soil, would agree that we don't want to be in war. I don't think it's ever the first thing that we want to jump to is sending missiles to attack someone because there's always, a chance of retaliation. And we never know what form that retaliation might come in and what it might look like. We don't know if they already have people planted over here, but that's why we have all these spies, and that's why they have the CIA and all of this stuff going on. You never can be too careful when it comes to guarding the borders, guarding the skyways, guarding the territory for which you dwell. It's just like when you live in your house. You don't want neighbors feuding around you, and you don't want to be targeted for intervening and defending one of the neighbors, right? Because there's a thing about retaliation. Same thing with the United Nations and America. I just don't understand why we keep getting involved in other countries' affairs. I don't understand it. I feel that there are so many people here in America that are suffering financially, economically, people here who don't have housing. There's no reason why anybody in America should not have a place to live, a dwelling, should have food to eat, should have transportation, and should have access to health care. And I just find it very, I don't know, just weird and strange and ironic that we can send bombs. We have the technology to send missiles and bombs all the way to another country with very accurate and precise precision to basically obliterate their nuclear weapons and bunkers in the ground. We also have the capability to shoot down the missiles that they strike at us, because that's what happened. They sent 6 missiles at American territory and they were struck down. We have all these different capabilities, but yet we don't have the capability to keep people from being homeless. We don't have the capability to stop the hunger over here. We don't have the capability to help the education system, where most of the children in the public education system are suffering because a lot of them cannot read on the level in which they should be reading, cannot do math on the level in which they should be computing. They can't comprehend because they don't use their brains to think. It's a very scary time to live in when we have allegedly children that are supposed to be the future, who are going to be the future doctors, nurses, scientists, attorneys, all types of professions that are going to be needed to run this country and this planet. And yet and still, we don't have proper education for these beings. I find that very troubling. So we cannot leave certain things in the hands of the government, because when you allow the government to solve all your problems, you become very dependent. Now, this whole thing with the Iran and Israel situation, we had no control over that, and we never have control. So I just want you to think about also too how King Ek, how are you? You said we know what's going on. Please elaborate in the comment section if you don't mind. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for joining. Hearts out to you, King Egg. And thank you so much for your support and watching. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe, y'all. I want to also say we have to think about the history in which how this country was established and founded. The same way that we were terrorized as melanated people here, as and I want to give a shout out to one of the people that commented on my last video, because I said we're Native Americans. He also said that we are American, hold on, what did he call it? American Indians, I believe, something to that effect. Anyway, how we were conquered over here is the same way America has been conquering everybody else's territory, conquering them. And basically, America's supposed to be the police of the world, meaning they don't back down, they get what they want. This is exactly how we have been treated in this country as melanated people, as indigenous people to this land. They came over here, they conquered it, they took it, and they got what they wanted. And now they're in a power of position. Now they're the ones calling the shots. They're the ones that are able to send, people to war that maybe don't agree with the war. And if you don't go to the war, if you are in the military and you try to avoid going to war, well, then guess what? You're considered going AWOL and you can get in trouble for that. You can also be sentenced to treason. Basically, that means that you're not being patriotic enough for your country. That means you don't agree with what your country practices are, and you decide to turn against your country. And they said that the actual punishment for treason can be death, punishable by death. You don't believe me? Look it up. So I think it's very ironic how the America, how they have this sense of arrogance, this sense of cockiness. I said it in my last video. This is how America has been established. This is what it was founded upon, and it is very unfortunate that other countries have to be bullied by America, because melanated people have been, put in a very bad situation ever since the colonizer came over here and took over this territory. So my my daddy was in the military, and by him being around other nations, being near the Pakistanians, he was actually friendly with the Pakistanians, the Russians, the Somalians, the Africans, and they would even tell him, it's not you that we have a problem with. It's the white man. It's the white man that we have a problem with. And it is so unfortunate that because they are dictating what America does, they're making the decisions for America. It's like we don't have a voice. If we don't believe in going to war, they're going to do what they want to do anyway. So I just hope that the people in other countries do not look at all Americans as being the same, because we're not. This really has something to do with the people that run the countries, because we as a people, we really don't have a say so. If we had a say so, we could have we would have not wanted 9/11 to happen. Innocent people died and got killed in 9/11 because of some personal stuff that was going on behind the scenes. Same thing with Katrina, because they wanted to do genocide and an ethnic cleansing out in Louisiana, New Orleans. Um, and even with the LA fires, it is very unfortunate that a lot of people had to lose their homes behind it. And I believe that was also orchestrated by the government, because there's no way that this fire spread like that and continued to go on for days and days and days at no end and destroy all of these people's homes. I really think about the people that did not have the financial means to rebuild, and the fact that you have insurance companies that pulled the fire contingency out of their policies, so that when these fires struck, 2, 3, 4 months later, they could say, oh, your claim is denied because we took that clause out of your policy. To me, that is very unlawful. It's very unjust. And since we're talking about houses, since we're talking about fires, we also need to talk about the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which was implemented only 57 years ago because discriminatory practices were taking place against people of color, meaning that we would be discriminated against if we wanted to rent and or purchase a home or real estate because of the basis of skin, nationality, origin. They've also implemented familial status, disability as well. And sexual orientation. So I just want you to think about these things as a melanated being here on your own territory. Not only did they take your land, but if you tried to buy real estate, you would be discriminated against simply because of your race or your nationality and your origin. So only 57 years ago was this law implemented into place, this Fair Housing Act. And I want you to also look this up because by me being a licensed realtor, I get, you know, articles sent to me from the National Association of Realtors. They actually sent out an apology letter stating that they are sorry for the effects of what discriminatory practices have done on a nationwide level against people that have been discriminated against. It is still happening to this day. I was just doing some research earlier looking this up because I thought about making this a topic. I don't think people really understand how deep this stuff goes, y'all. And maybe this is something that people are not interested in because a lot of people and a lot of melanated people don't want to be homeowners, don't want to purchase houses because they have a lack of understanding of how powerful, how more financially advanced you can be by being a homeowner because they get bad information from people that don't really understand the whole economics behind home ownership. But I'm telling you what I know. A lot of people that don't look like us are homeowners, y'all. And we probably are the ones that don't have home ownership. We are the least when it comes to home ownership, is what I'm trying to say. Um, and that needs to be switched around. It needs to be changed. That's something that should be normalized here in America. Everybody should have a right to home ownership, a right to purchase, and you should exercise that right. Even if you can't afford the house that you really want, go into something and build your equity up so that you can purchase the house that you would like to have. Because renting and renting and renting and thinking that you're going to save is not going to do it for you. When you build your equity, you're in your house for about 3 years and you get $100,000 in equity. There's no 401k that's going to pay you that amount. There's no amount that you're going to save on a job that's going to give you that amount in about 3 to 4 to 5 years. This is not going to happen. If it were happening in that capacity, much more melanated people, many more melanated people would be homeowners, y'all. And I know I switch topics because we're talking about Israel and Iran, but that's what we need to do. We need to think about things on a global level. We need to think about things on a microcosmic level and a macrocosmic level because all of these things actually affect us as melanated people. Um, that's one way of building wealth. And I know people say, oh, no, you can't build wealth with owning a home. Yes, you can, because I just told you and I just explained to you how equity works. And there are many different scenarios that people don't understand about having a house. Not only that, but if you ever get into a situation where you think that you cannot maintain your mortgage payments, everybody is putting it out there saying that, oh no, we're not going to be able to afford this home. Then that means that the bank is going to be our new landlord and they're going to kick us out of our home. That's not necessarily true. I can tell you what I know. I promise you, if you look to your state, there are foundations out here. There are actual programs out here that will help you stay in your home and will pay your mortgage for you. Before it even gets to that point, if you call your mortgage company and talk to them, let them know what your situation is, more than likely your mortgage company is going to work with you to stay in your home. It's not like they want to take you out of your home. It's not a setup. And I'm saying this because I see a lot of melanated people out of fear not purchasing homes and continuing to rent. And they're in that same cyclical cycle of their rent goes up and then they're struggling to pay the rent. They might get an eviction, their credit score goes down, um, and then they try to jump around and find another place to rent. And then they're like, oh, well, my credit is messed up. Do you think they'll approve my application? Do you think I can get in? Well, the reason that they're in that repetitive cycle is because of lack of knowledge, and our people perish for a lack of knowledge. So when someone is trying to share knowledge with you, it's not that they're always trying to manipulate or get over on you. It's because they really want to see our people succeed and win. Like I said, home ownership should be normalized amongst melanated people at this day and time. There is a reason that they had to implement the Equal Housing Act of 1968, which is only 57 years ago, and we need to take advantage of it. There are people out here that have not purchased a home in their 40s and their 50s, and that's okay. You can be in your 60s. I don't care if you are in your 60s and you want to purchase your home, go out there and do it. So I know we're talking about Iran and Israel, but we really need to be focusing on us melanated people. We need to be talking about things that's going to empower us outside of home ownership. Another thing we should be really focusing on is building businesses for ourselves and supporting our own businesses. I, for one, refuse to go to the Asian people to get my nails done because when I look at it from their standpoint, if I had a business and I'm selling something to them, they're not going to support it. They're going to purchase from their own. And because everybody practices economic, I don't even know what you call it, but they practice economics within their own communities. Same thing with the Hispanics. You know, when they have a restaurant, they hire their own. You don't see Hispanic people hiring melanated people to work in their restaurants. No, you don't. When you go to like the Italian restaurants, you don't see Italians hiring melanated people to work in their restaurants. But melanated people are the only ones that will sell themselves out to anybody. They will do business with anyone and then complain about the treatment that they receive when they go into these hair stores. They complain about the treatment that they receive, you know, from these Asian people saying, oh, they walked around, they followed me like I was going to steal. Why are you still going to their stores? Why are you still shopping there? If you really care about yourself and you love yourself enough, you would start creating your own businesses. You would take a stand for what is going to empower you. If that means sacrificing these weaves, then sacrifice the weaves. You don't need a weave to prove that you have natural beauty, females. If that means not getting your nails done at these Asian salons, then sacrifice it. And that's another thing that ties back into home ownership, y'all. A lot of y'all don't get homes and can't afford a home. And you come up with all these excuses about not being able to have a down payment because you have to get your nails done every week, every 2 weeks. You have to go and buy all of this extra expensive weaves that cost $400 and $500 for what I don't know. It's not necessary. I don't see any other ethnic race putting another nationality's hair on top of their head except melanated females. That is a psychological problem. And I know people are going to get offended when if they hear this, if they see this. People are hypersensitive. And one thing I do notice, if you have a YouTube channel, people unsubscribe because you say something that touches a nerve because a hit dog will holler. And that's simply what it is. We have to stop with the psychological nonsense. Our people are mentally ill and mentally sick. They are so concerned about everybody else outside of themselves instead of fixing themselves. We have to stop, y'all. We have to stop. There's no need to be putting other people's hair on top of your head before you walk out the door. There's no reason why you should feel that insecure about who the creator made you to be. If you are made in his divine image, and a lot of y'all claim that you're Christian and you believe in the Bible, which y'all know how I feel about religion. But if you're made in the divine image of your creator, then that means that your hair should be enough, right? That means that who you are should be enough. You should not have to have body enhancements. We just saw what happened to K. Michelle some years ago. She ended up in the hospital. She was just on Cam Newton's podcast saying how she thought she wasn't going to make it. She was in the emergency room, y'all. And there is nothing wrong with her body. I thought she looked perfectly fine. I don't even understand why she had the procedure done. Then let's run down the line while we're talking about it. Lil Kim, I thought she looked perfectly fine when she first came out with her first album, Hardcore. I didn't see anything wrong with Lil Kim. Over the years, Lil Kim does not look like Lil Kim anymore. Y'all, we have to stop. This is a mental and a psychological issue. Um, then let's talk about the toxins that's going into your body, the silicone that they're injecting into you. And some of this stuff is not even silicone. We don't know what it is. If you want to, have a healthy life, you don't want to have toxins floating all through your blood. Who knows what that can turn into in years to come? That is a very, very negative way to live, y'all, is to try to fix the things outwardly instead of going inside and fixing the things inside of yourself. You need to really do some self-talking to yourselves, ladies. And I know there are guys out here that's tired of seeing the hair weaves. There are guys that's tired of seeing the fake bodies, the fake this, the fake that. Be yourself. Do you feel that you're not enough? You feel that you are not enough to go out here and expose yourself to the world? What are you telling your creator? What are you telling your parents? What are you telling your children? What are you telling your daughters? What are you telling your sons? Go out and get someone that looks the opposite of me, get blonde wigs, get somebody that has to do all these things to make themselves feel appealing. That is a problem. And you need to learn how to accept yourself. And I really think a lot of people need some psychological help. It's not just about going out and buying all these name brands. I just heard that B. Simone was crying on the internet because she had to go to H&M to actually go shopping instead of going to Bloomingdale's, y'all. She is actually having a meltdown because now she has to budget her money of where she goes shopping. She can't go and get all this name brand stuff. We have too many problems out here to be worried about making the oppressor more rich. Because what are they doing for you? What is Louis Vuitton doing for you, ladies and gentlemen? Are they adding any money into your bank account? Are they making sure your children has a solid education that's going to make them excel in life? Are they going to give your children a college degree in the future? Give them a scholarship? Are they going to make sure that they have the skill set, the trades that they need so that they can be competitive in the job market? No, they're not. But you can make sure that I overheard one of the teachers say that prom season came into town. I didn't know people were spending $2,000 on prom shoes. And y'all want to tell me as a licensed realtor that y'all cannot afford a house? Y'all want to tell me as a licensed realtor that you don't have down payment money? Y'all want to tell me that you don't have money for closing costs, a couple of $1,000s to get into a house? You rather sit there and rent and buy $2,000 shoes for prom? A day that only lasts a couple of hours? What type of financial decisions and what type of financial example are you setting for these children out here? And I hear melanated women say it all the time. A lot of times they're single melanated women say, "Oh, I'm going to give my child the best. I put my children first." Putting your children first is teaching them financial literacy. Putting your children first is making sure you have a savings account, making sure you have life insurance policies on your children, making sure you have a life insurance policy on yourself in case something happens to you. Your children will benefit and reap the benefits of that life insurance policy. Set them up for some type of financial success. That's what you call putting your children first, not buying them $2,000 prom shoes that you probably cannot really afford while you sit in your apartment and the rent keeps increasing and you're complaining about $2,000 rent, right? But you can buy $2,000 shoes. That to me, the logic makes no sense. Setting your children up for success is not giving them everything they want just because it's name brand. You need to be looking at their grades. You need to be sitting with your children and having real talks about credit, how credit works, how interest rate works, how does interest work? Are you having conversations about home insurance policies, life insurance policies, car insurance? Your children need to be educated to get into this world because guess what? The education system has failed us all tremendously. And it doesn't teach your child how to thrive in this society. It doesn't teach your child about real estate. It doesn't teach your child about economic empowerment. So doing these things, giving them $2,000 prom shoes and dresses and all this nonsense, you're treating them like celebrities and they're not. You don't have the celebrity budget. I just spoke to one of my neighbors out here and her daughter, actually, I think she lives in this neighborhood, goes to the extreme when it comes to her children. Spending money. She says she thinks she's Beyonce and she's going all out for her child and her, teenage daughter. She's 16 and she's gonna spend all this money on a fancy dinner. I forgot how many thousands of dollars, y'all, on these teenagers that still might go to college, still might need to go to a trade school, still might need money for emergency purposes. There are medical things that can come up, but you are more concerned about the aesthetics because you want to live a life of social media. You want to live a fake celebrity lifestyle when that is not what is really happening out here in this world. Y'all, we really need to get it together. We really need to get it together. Aaron Grooves, I must have joined at the wrong time. I think you're on the money with, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read your comment with regard to some, but I also know lots of people who use weave and makeup, etc., without trying to fool others or to be vain. Yes, I do understand that, Aaron, and there's nothing wrong with wanting a different look or a different aesthetic. But what I am saying is that there's a point of contention here because there are a lot of females who will not leave the house without a wig on, will not leave the house without weave, have to wear it every single day because they are ashamed of their own hair. And this is a thing that you clearly we see it every day, right? Clearly we see it every day. And it's nothing against people that want to enhance their beauty. It's nothing wrong with wanting to switch up your style. I would actually wear, different things on my, but I have too much hair for all of that. And I just, it's too much. So I don't do all of that, but hey, whatever makes you happy. But what I'm saying is when it gets to a point where you feel that you have to cover up who and what you are, how you were created, that's a problem. If you are going out here and augmenting your body and almost there are females out here dying on the table. There are females out here dying from BBLs, dying from having their bodies altered. There are teenage girls that haven't finished developing in their early 20s. Some females don't, you gain weight the older you get as a female because your metabolism slows down. Early 20s, they want to go and get body enhancements, haven't even had a child yet. Like you're doing this to yourselves to prove what? Because the rap music, because of music videos, because of social media. So basically, you need validation from the outside world. And what I'm saying, Aaron, is this all of this needs to happen from the inside out. You should not have to have all of that to make yourself feel that you are beautiful. If the creator wanted you to have it, you would have gotten it when you were born, and give yourself a chance to grow into who you're going to be and grow into your looks. Sometimes it doesn't happen right away. It happens later in life, but just, age gracefully is what I'm saying. Look at Felicia Rashad, Claire Huxtable. I think she aged gracefully. I also think Jada Pinkett's mother is another person that aged gracefully. Jada Pinkett to me looks like an avatar because she had, you could tell she had plastic surgery done and she used to look really nice. Look at Vivica Fox before she had plastic surgery. All I'm saying is age gracefully. There's too much pressure to try to look like the aesthetic of what somebody else is telling you you should do. Aaron, but I really commend you. And I am such a fan of you, and you are so talented. So, yeah, I really want our people to focus more on the inner, right? The talents that you have. And they make it seem like it's uncool to be who you are if you have a different interest. Like I love the fact that Aaron Grooves can tap dance, can play multiple instruments, can do all these things with music. Like to me, that is just so talented and gifted to be able to do these things, write music, read music. We don't focus on these things anymore. We don't focus on the arts. Everything is about being a social media influencer, about doing makeup, doing hair, and those things are fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I wish I knew how to professionally do makeup because trust and believe if I did, y'all, when I come on camera, I would be looking just like a celebrity. But I don't know how to do makeup like that. But what I'm saying is you have to be able to go dig deep into yourself, find out who you are, and stop being ashamed of who you are, what you look like, and trying to be basically a carbon copy of everybody else. Everybody with the baby hairs, everybody, wearing the same hairstyles, everybody doing the same makeup routine, everybody's getting the same BBLs, everybody's just doing the same stuff that it looks like they came out of a factory of carbon copies, and we don't need to see that. You should be original, have your own original beauty. Like I remember back in the day, y'all, like the natural beauties. Y'all remember Ananda Lewis? I talked about her the other day. She was a natural beauty, all right, and she didn't have all that extra enhancement. Look at Chili from TLC, natural beauty, didn't have to have all these extra enhancements, didn't have to have pounds of makeup, pounds of weave, pounds of lashes. We didn't have back in the 90s, the 2000s, females weren't doing all of that. Who else? Tatiana Ali. We don't hear from her anymore. Keisha Knight Pulliam, Rudy from the Huxtables. Beauty, natural beauty, y'all. Who else? Aaliyah. She did wear extensions. She had makeup, but natural body, natural beauty, and everybody loved Aaliyah. So I'm not understanding. Look at Maya. Look at Carrie Hilson. They just had Ladies Night Out, y'all. Ladies Night, Ladies Night Out. Check it out. Carrie Hilson was there. Um, she to me is a natural beauty. Then you also had Lil Kim was there. I don't really like to talk about Lil Kim. We share the same zodiac sign, but yeah, I just wish she had kind of left herself alone. And what I'm saying is, when you look at how Lil Kim looks now compared to when she first came out in the industry, if she had just let herself age gracefully, I think she would have been okay. But some people don't know when to stop. And it's just it's too much pressure out here. People are out here taking Ozempic. Look at Megan the Stallion. She has lost weight when I think Megan owned who she was on the stage. One thing about Megan, she has stage presence like no other. She can work a stage. She is great with her performances, and I feel like there was no need for her to lose weight and to take Ozempic. But these are the pressures of Hollywood, the pressures of social media, the pressures of being in music videos, and all these other unnatural outside influences that really has antagonized our melanated females when they go out here and put all this extra enhancement on themselves. That's what I'm saying, Erin. All right, let's see what else. You said, I hear you. It just feels like you're shaming all weave, wigs, prom, celebrations, etc. It came nice to celebrate once in a while. It can be nice. Y'all, it is nice to be able to switch it up. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to feel like this is the only way that you can present yourselves to the world. Because, I mean, it's not necessary. And yes, definitely focus on the inner. Let me see, the inner preach on, and I owe you a DM. You are good. Girl, you do look like a celebrity. You look amazing. Don't be self-deprecating. Well, thank you, Aaron. All right, gotta run. Thanks for the engagement. Thank you, Aaron, for coming on. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you for your interaction and speaking your mind. Yes, indeed. But yeah, that's just that on that. I just wanted to come on and just say, I feel better that they have ceased fire. I know we got into a whole different topic about melanated people and stuff like that, but I think we really need to hone in and focus on ourselves. We also have to pay attention to what's going on in the world as well because it does impact us. And we have to get outside of the celebrity gossip all the time. Like right now, what's going on with Diddy, Tyler Perry, Fat Joe, Remy Ma, Papoose, and all of them, Clarissa Shields. Like I said, when something goes down in this country, if they start dropping bombs over here, they're not coming to save us. Clarissa Shields, Papoose, Tyler, they're going to be trying to save themselves. They're going to be trying to save their own families. So we really need to start thinking more about ourselves and our lives because you only got one time to be here in this physical realm, in this physical body, in this particular time. Yes, I do believe that many of us have been here before. We just came in a different form, y'all. So if you know about, past lives and stuff like that, if you understand that, then you do. If you don't, you don't. But I think we all came here back here for a reason. Sometimes I'll be questioning why in the world did we come back here again, y'all? Because life is not easy for a lot of people. And for the people out here, if you're very gifted, if you're very talented, if you're very rare, you're going to go through a lot of trouble in life. I'm telling you right now. I'm sorry, I'm getting messages. You're going to go through a lot of you're going to go through a lot of turmoil in life if you're gifted, talented, and rare. If you stay to yourself, if you're more independent, people don't like it when you can think for yourself. If you're a leader of yourself, if you're not a follower, they can't stand it. They hate it. I told my story the other day about when I went to this event and just I was being watched, but it's all good. Just expect that, you can't help it. And I just want to, I want to send this message too for anybody out there. If you're going through that, just know that you are special. If you go through a situation and you don't know why are you always targeted, it's because there's something special about you, and people they're jealous, they can't stand it, they're envious. And don't stop being you. Don't stop being scared to speak your mind, to speak up for yourself, to be who you are, to share your talents and gifts with the world. And for the people that are scared to come on camera, because I talk to people a lot, and they say, like a lot of realtors, they say, "Oh, you're so good on camera. I don't want to get on camera. I don't want to talk to the camera." Well, guess what? If you have a gift, if you have a talent, you don't have to come on camera. You can speak behind the camera. You don't have to have this camera on you. You can turn it off and let your voice speak for you. You can put the camera on something else and just narrate and say, "Hey, we're taking a walk today. Let me show you my scenery. This is the park. These are the trees. These are the birds. These are the flowers. Let me talk to you for a minute." You don't have to show yourself on camera. It's days that I don't want to come on camera. And if I don't want to, then I won't. So y'all will see me on the good days and you also see me on the bad days. And that's what I'm saying about females out here being able to accept themselves. No, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to switch up your look and do these different things, but I'm saying don't be dependent on it, right? You shouldn't be to the point where you feel so self-conscious that you have to depend on a bunch of artificial things to make yourself feel validated. And I know a lot of this comes from, the aesthetic and the construct of what they call beautiful, right? And they like to shame people with a certain complexion. I hear a lot of negative comments, y'all, and I see it in the comment sections all the time on videos when there's a darker complected person versus a lighter complected person and how they talk about, the darker complected person. Oh, they like to call them ugly a lot of times. I've seen it so many times, and it's such a shame. But this goes on all across the globe, y'all, all across the nation. So that is it, y'all. I'm hungry, and I call myself trying to go on like this fruit and veggie diet. Like I don't know how people can do the raw vegan veggie diet. That's how we're supposed to be eating. So that means you don't cook the vegetables And that's supposed to be the healthiest way for our bodies. Maya does it. She looks wonderful for her age, but now I'm getting hungry. And I had some plums when I got here, and I feel like it's not going to be enough. Like I fixed this dish and it was so good. It had spinach noodles and I chopped up some green pepper, no, yellow peppers, orange, and red peppers. I put some zucchini and squash in it. I can't be telling y'all all my secrets, y'all. And then I had some brown sugar in it. I seasoned it up with my seasonings, oregano and basil and herb divorce and Italian seasoning and all this stuff. It was so good. And I put my tomato basil sauce in it, pesto sauce. My light just went out, y'all. I did all of that and I was eating off of it. And I wish I had some more of that stuff. I do have a little bit left, but I don't want to eat it. So I'm trying to think, what else can I eat? It's 11 o'clock. I don't know. I don't know if I feel like trying to fix something. I'm gonna have to eat something before I go to sleep tonight, y'all. So y'all let me know. I got some asparagus in there and some green beans, but I don't feel like going through all of that. Yeah, I'm just ranting on a whole different topic right now. What do y'all be eating at night? Do y'all be eating healthy? Do you just be snacking? What vegan dishes do y'all fix? If you have some suggestions, I would love to know. Um, I also like chickpeas. There's a chickpea dish that I fix. I do have sweet potatoes in there. Maybe I'll make some sweet potato fries because those sound really good. So I'm going to get off of here. It's 11 o'clock. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And I am signing out until next time. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so glad that they have ceased fire because I didn't want America to be under attack, y'all. I didn't want us to be vulnerable and for us to be impacted. And I'm hoping that this will last. And I hope that we don't go into any more type of warlike tendencies, the in the future to come. I don't know. My friend in Dallas, she is sending me stuff. Queen at Queen Eat Food, worry about the diet later. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I do eat food, but I eat things that I'm not supposed to have. I don't know if y'all have actually had your levels checked and tested, but I deal with high cholesterol. I deal with a few other things as well that's not good for me. So the things that I eat, I shouldn't have, like white pasta, breads. These are the things I love. Cookies and at apple pies and cakes and all of these things I'm not supposed to have. So, and then there are different things that go on within your body that if you keep on feeding your body the wrong things, it will actually not, it will manifest the things that are already wrong in your body. And it will cause these things to get worse and to grow. So, this is why when you really love yourself and care about yourself, think about your future self. So, when I get older, when I get more elderly, I want to be in good health. And it starts now. I was watching a video and they said the best person that's going to take care of the old you is the you right now. And that's in finances and that's in how in our eating habits and our health and how we take care of ourselves. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. I will talk with you later. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, you all stay